Hello there. So for those of you who didn't know, it is Harry Potter's birthday tomorrow, and to mark his birthday I thought that I would create this video, which is my 40 annoyances with the Harry Potter film. And as you can see, I'm representing my house colours today. Ravenclaw, obviously. I love Harry Potter. I've loved it ever since I discovered it when I was about 11, but I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that I have a few gripes and annoyances when it comes to the films as opposed to the books. So let's get straight into it. So the Weasley twins don't actually come across as funny as they are in the books. Their spark and their hilarity is just completely lost in the films. I don't know if it was miscasting or direction, but they are just not funny enough. Harry's parents look too old, and I'm talking in the Mirror of Erised. I mean, they're supposed to be in their early 20s, they look like they're in their early 40s. It just doesn't add up, guys. In my opinion, Michael Gambon was an awful Dumbledore. I mean, of course it was always going to be difficult to replace Richard Harris as Dumbledore. He was perfect, down to every last detail, but Gambon, oh, he just killed it for me. Just ruined the rest of the franchise, in my opinion. There's no glass in Harry's glasses for quite a major chunk of the films. I felt like the third film had way too much detail cut out of it. That, for me, was my favourite book because it told the story of his dad's friends, and it was that whole discovering the Marauders that I loved. It just wasn't there in the film. There was a lot of information missing, and I get that they can't include everything, but it was very upsetting. Now, this next one I know can't be helped because you can't cast someone and know what they're going to look like years later, but Harry and Ron were way too short. They were supposed to be a lot taller, especially Ron. He was supposed to be gangly and he just wasn't. Peeves wasn't in it. Need I say more? Roles such as the fat lady were changed. I mean, there wasn't really much point. You should have just had Dawn French from the start. She would have been perfect. When Polyjuice Potion is taken, your voices are supposed to change along with the person you're changing into. And that didn't happen in the film. That was a little bit annoying because you're lying to the people about how Polyjuice Potion works. It's all just lies, isn't it? Again, this is kind of to do with casting. Ginny was supposed to be hot. In the books, she was very desirable. She had her pick of the guys as she got older, obviously. And in the films, she had zero personality. This one really gets to me. Hermione's Your Ball dress would not be hot pink. If you know her character, you know for a fact that she would not choose a hot pink dress with frills all over it. The periwinkle blue was perfect Hermione. Why change that? I just don't get it. It really annoyed me. For me, the fifth film seemed a little bit too jumbled up. It was like things were just in the wrong place, and I don't know, it kind of threw me a little bit. Like, I'd read the book so much before I went to see it that when I did see it I was a little bit confused, and I felt like those who hadn't read the book would be confused also. I felt like there was too much distraction in the third film. For example, random things going on in the background. So a good example is in the Leaky Cauldron when you've got random stuff moving about on the table and, I don't know, just inanimate objects just doing their own shit, and you've got the shrunken heads on the bus. It's pointless. I mean, Harry Potter's magical enough, you don't need to add all these little bits. Dobby is the one that's supposed to help Harry with the whole gillyweed situation in the fourth film, not Neville. I get why they use Neville instead, it's probably easier and saved on a bit of CGI, but I just felt like it would have given Dobby a bit more time in the limelight before he sadly passed away. Okay, so the dragon task in the fourth film is supposed to be in one place. It's just supposed to be in an arena, obviously because it would be dangerous if the dragons were lurking all over the place. And I get why they got the dragon to chase Harry all around the side of Hogwarts and stuff, but it still annoyed me. Like, I get the cinematic aspect to it, but no. Just no. Health and safety nightmare, come on. Dumbledore will have a lot of paperwork to deal with. Hermione's hair is my next annoyance. She is supposed to have a big mane of bushy hair, somewhat akin to Hagrid, I'd imagine. And yeah, after the first film, it just tames itself. Like, it's a little bit wavy in the second film, but then by the third, it's like, whoa, where's it gone, Hermione? What's happening? I was upset that Dudley and Harry never got to say goodbye in the final film. Well, it would have been the one before the final film because it was split, but I would have really liked to have seen that. I felt like the start of the fourth film was a little bit rushed and there wasn't enough build up to the Quidditch World Cup. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I feel like a great deal of comedy is missed out from the films. In the books, there were some laugh out loud moments, especially when it comes to the Weasley Twins. Am I wrong in thinking that the locket that is actually the Horcrux is supposed to be a delicate little heart pendant with an S on it? It's not supposed to be a big bulky thing that looks like you'll get it out of like a 20p toy machine. We never got to meet Winky the house elf. A lot of people may have forgotten who she is, and those who haven't read the books will think, who the hell is Winky? But she was quite a funny character. A drunk elf. I mean, that's what the franchise needed. Oh, I tell you what, this next one really gets on my nerves. The sorting ceremony was not in alphabetical order. How do you go from like Weasley to Granger to Potter to Bones to... what the hell? Come on, McGonagall, you know better than this. I know they don't teach like English language and literature A-level at Hogwarts, but come on, everybody knows the alphabet. I feel a bit sad that there's no catch-up with characters like Oliver Wood, who you're supposed to see at the start of the fourth film. Some of the characters look very different, and I'm talking about the likes of Flitwick. So in the first two films, I believe, he's got a massive white bushy beard and a bulbous nose, and he looks a little bit like a goblin, I think. Then by the third film, he's got jet black hair set in that really severe parting and a moustache. I mean, surely you would have decided what Flitwick looked like from the get-go. It's basic planning, guys, come on. I'm pretty sure that when Sirius is in his Animagus form, he's supposed to be a Labrador type dog, not a wolfhound looking thing. Yeah, he's just not cute as that type of dog. I don't like it. I felt like the final battle for Hogwarts was very disjointed. I mean, what the hell are Harry and Voldemort doing? They're all over the place. Just stay in the Great Hall where everyone can watch. They want to check that Voldemort's dead, but instead you've got him floating about outside turning into paper. What is that about? Seriously? Okay, this next one really bugs me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this. When Harry and Ginny have their first kiss, it is supposed to be an amazing moment. There's supposed to be a major spark between them. All this lust has been building up for months on end, years in Ginny's case. But in the film, oh my god, it's probably the cringiest kiss I have ever seen in a film. I can't actually watch it, my stomach just curls up into a ball. It's horrid, I hate it. At the start of book 5, I believe, there's a chapter called The Other Minister, where you get to see the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and the Minister for Magic comes to meet him and talk about the Wizarding World and what have you. I kind of wish that they'd had that in the film, because I think it really would have added something and it would have been quite funny too. I'm actually really upset by the fact that you never get to properly see Nevilles' parents in the films. You just get to see them on that Order of the Phoenix photograph. I really wish that they'd included the scene at the magical hospital where Neville's mum keeps passing him bubblegum wrappers. That just broke my heart when I read it, and I really think it would have added a lot to Neville's character if they'd included it, so I'm a little bit sad that they didn't. We never really got to see Voldemort's family properly. I just feel like he needed a bit more backstory. We did have the flashbacks in the 6th film, but I feel like there could have been a lot more to it. It would have been way better. I feel like some of the relationships in the film aren't properly developed, so they're not very believable. You don't really see a lot of interaction between certain characters in scenes as it should be in the books. I know it's probably difficult translating it from the book to the screen. This one has gotten on my nerves for so many years and is one of the reasons I can't watch the films anymore. I feel like Hermione starts to act more like Ron's mum than his mum does. So she's always calling him Ronald and talking down to him. I mean, she is supposed to be a little bit irritating and bossy, but I mean, come on, you're not his mum. Again, I think that's down to either an acting choice or direction, but it's just very cringy. It's just not right. Neville is supposed to go into the forest in the first film instead of Ron. I feel like we never find out quite enough about the Marauders. I would have loved to have seen some of the preparations for Bill and Fleur's wedding. It was just completely missed out. I felt like it would have eased you into the film a bit more. I felt like Tonks and Lupin just were not a convincing couple. Not in the slightest. We never got to see enough of Dumbledore's past for my liking. We never got to see those little snippets of his family, like his brother and his sister when they were young. I think that would have worked really well as a flashback, so I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't try and include that. Harry's eyes are supposed to be green. I mean, could you not have invested in some contact lenses? Really? Come on. When certain people died in the final instalment of the franchise, I felt like they weren't given a proper send-off. So like Fred didn't have his moment, Tonks and Lupin didn't have their moment, Colin Creevy, you just caught a glimpse of him and that was it. I just felt like you didn't get time to grieve for them, you know? It's a very emotional time for everybody. And my final annoyance with the films, I wasn't in any of them, was I? No. I would have even played a goblin. I'm a little bit tall, but I would have done it just to have been part of it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any annoyances to share about the Harry Potter films or the books, then please share them below. Now, I do love Harry Potter very much, but I think it's inevitable that when you translate a book to a film, it's never going to work out perfectly. Anyway, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!